So here we are back in the round pen with Oliver. This is the beginning of our session. And so I brought him in, I took his halter off, gave him a little brush, and then I just asked him to draw and connect with me right away. I kind of wanted to see where he was at, if he was sticky, if he was fluid. And so I'm just asking him to follow me and stay at my shoulder and keep that momentum going. I can already feel that he's a little stuck and he's not really connected. And so here I am just trying to get his attention back and asking him to move forward. Like I said, his feet just felt really stuck. He didn't feel fluid. And so whenever that happens, I'm just going to ask my horse to move forward. I'm going to ask them to flow. I'm going to ask them to just kind of keep moving their feet. I want to see generally when they feel stuck or when they feel disconnected, there's something in there that's stuck and that needs to be released, like some sort of energy that's stuck inside them. And so I asked him to move forward a little bit, and then I asked him to reconnect. He went right back to eating and grazing and not really sort of being fluid and connected. You can sort of see in his feet, he's taking choppy little steps and the movement just isn't there. So I'm going to ask him to just go forward. I'm going to ask him to move his feet, pick up some energy, and just try and release some of that energy that's stuck in there. Ollie can be a little bit on the lazy side, so sometimes you have to really pick up that energy. And so see that little head flick? That right there was some stuck energy that he needed to move out. And so I knew that there was a little bit more. And so I picked up my energy and I kind of started running with him just to get him to kind of move his feet, move forward, get some stuff flowing, and let him express himself. And so I got him moving forward, and then I asked him to switch directions and go the other way. Usually what you want to do is get your horse kind of going in one direction at a nice fluid, soft pace. And then once they can do a full circle at a nice, good pace, you ask them to change directions. With Oliver, I just got the feeling like his brain was sort of working in a lot of different directions. And so I kind of wanted to ask him to move forward and have him switch and get his brain sort of working and back connected onto me. His instinct is to come in and to be pushy, but it's not because he wants to connect. It's because he wants to establish that leadership. He's deciding he wants to come in. And so if I was to allow him to come in when he is demanding, then that sort of is allowing him to establish that leadership. And so what I want to do is when he does come in and he does change, and I do ask him to change direction, is I want to keep pushing him forward and say, no, like you're not coming in right now. I need you to move some stuff. And that way, when I draw him in, it's me establishing the leadership and me saying, okay, I feel like you're fluid. I feel like you're connected and you can come back into my space now. And that's kind of one of the key things with Oliver, because he is so confident, because he is so pushy, because he is so playful, that it's a really important piece of establishing that healthy leadership right off the bat. And so once he felt less sticky, he felt more fluid, I started to ask him to draw again and reconnect with me. And here I am just kind of focusing on keeping him straight and keeping him at my shoulder, not allowing him to push into me, not allowing him to cheat with his nose and try and turn in. I'm really just asking him to stay straight, stay with me, stay at my shoulder, and stay in his space and out of mine. Sometimes you'll see in some videos, I'll lift my whip hand up, never the tip, but the handle up. And that just kind of helps establish that block. A lot of times when horses are trying to dip in or push their shoulder or turn their nose, if you just kind of lift your hand a little bit and say, no, like this is my space, keep your nose out of it. You stay here, I'll stay here. It just helps create that sort of barrier for them. And so you can see in his feet, he's much more fluid, he's much more relaxed, he's much more connected, and he doesn't feel as choppy or as stuck. So when he pushes past me a little bit too far, I just ask him to back up, let him process, and then I'll ask him to draw again. So you really kind of want your horse to be in that sweet spot eventually. At the beginning, when you start to introduce Liberty, just introducing the foundation of draw is kind of where you want to focus on. And then once they get really confident and really connected, then you really want to focus on them being in that sweet spot right next to your shoulder, where they're in their space, you're in yours, but they're still connected and nice and close to you. And again, I'm just backing him up a little and giving him a little love. Start asking him to add a bit of energy. See if he'll draw to me at a nice trot without pushing into my space. Good, that was nice. And he went a little bit past me. That was kind of on me for not setting the intention of when I wanted to slow down and stop. And so I just asked him to back up a little bit. I think it's important for us all to remember that our horses are not mind readers. We really need to energetically set that intention before we ask them for something. And so that was kind of on me of not really being clear with him and shifting my own energy down before I asked him to. We reset, we reconnected, and we drew again. And usually when I start to introduce more speed and more trot at the beginning, the trotting portions are shorter. So I'm only really asking for a few steps. And then once they can establish that really well, then I expand to a few more steps and then eventually longer trotting circles. And so Oliver, we've already done a few sessions with adding some speed, and he's doing that really nicely. And so now I can ask him for a little bit of longer trotting sessions and a little bit more fluidity. And so eventually we switched sides, and I got him doing the same thing on the other side, just asking him to stay at my shoulder and step up with me and maintain straightness and fluidity at both the walk and the trot. And it was on this side that his shoulder really started sticking out. And so there's a couple of ways that you can correct the shoulder. In my opinion, it all kind of depends on their level of experience and understanding. And so here, what I'm going to try with Oliver is just applying a bit of that pressure on that shoulder that he keeps pushing into me. And what I'm looking for is that front right foot to cross over that front left foot. I don't want him backing up. I don't want him there. He kind of gave it to me a little bit. And so I gave him that release. And then just asked him to step up and keep following. And so I wanted to kind of test if he grasped that and if he would follow at my shoulder without pushing into me. The good thing about Oliver is he is incredibly smart and he picks things up very, very quickly. And sometimes those really smart horses can be frustrating to work with and a challenge to work with, but they're often just the most magical horses in the end. So I'm really excited that I get to work with him. Really excited that he's made the progress that he has, and so excited to see where we both end up over time.